What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you've all had a great start to the week and a good game week 6. In this weekly video that comes out every week, we're going to have a look back how I got on in the previous week. So game week 6, we'll review how my season has gone so far, but most importantly, we'll look ahead to the upcoming game week 7, and have a look at my potential transfers, anything I've confirmed so far, my team selection and my captaincy for the upcoming week. So let's dive straight in with a quick review of how I got on in game week 6. So I made one transfer in game week 6 and I sold Tsimikas, who's been great for me, but also causing me a little bit of a headache, taking up that third Liverpool spot. And in his place, I brought Anthony Rudiger of Chelsea. Now I knew that Rudiger had a difficult fixture in game week 6 against Manchester City. However, he also has a really nice run of fixtures from game week 7 onwards, which is what I was going to do with this transfer that I made. I had 2 free transfers, so I had to use one of them, and this is where I decided to use it. So diving into the team, I'm currently recording on Monday evening during the Brighton Crystal Palace match, so I still have one player left to play in Sanchez of Brighton. Crystal Palace away, currently 0-0 at time of recording. Let's hope for a clean sheet, but the ownership of Brighton defence is so high that it doesn't particularly impact me very much however this game goes. Moving into the defence, it's a pretty sorry state, I'm not going to lie. Shaw got 0 after picking up a yellow card and then getting injured and being substituted in the first half, so 0 for him. Trent picked up 1, conceding 3 to Brighton, and Rudiger picked up 1, conceding to Manchester City and also picking up a yellow card. The least we talk about this defence, I think, the better. It wasn't a good week for them, but I'm still happy with the defenders that I'm owning at the moment. Moving into the midfield, again, not the best returns we've got here. So Salah was my vice captain this week. He did get his goal, no bonus points as he was only involved in 1 of the 6 goals that was scored in that match. Salah continues to be one of the best decisions I've made so far this season. He scored 3 goals in the 3 weeks that I've owned him and 3 goals in the past 2 game weeks. Greenwood potentially could have had some returns. He was going to get the assist for the Manchester United penalty that was taken, but it was missed, of course, by Bruno Fernandes. And then Ben Rama as well. He looked very lively again, was quite unfortunate not to get any returns, but midfield not particularly delightful returns, with Salah not being good for my rank, even though he returned because of his ownership. Moving into the forward line now, so again, a not very good viewing. We've got Antonio in there, who's returned 8 points, but again, his ownership's very high, so it did very little for my rank. Of course, I'm happy to own him, and he continues to return, but Ronaldo, my captain, not getting anything. Why he didn't step up and take that penalty, I still don't know. He will not be letting Bruno Fernandes go and take any more penalties that are of any importance. I can now see Ronaldo being that #1 Manchester United penalty taker. And finally, Dennis. So what have I done? I started Dennis. I thought that there would be a few more goals for Watford against that Newcastle defence because of all their injuries. It didn't happen. He also picked up a yellow card and got just 1 point. Now we move on to the bench and the pain continues. So I benched Rafinha. How could I have done this? So I spoke in my wildcard video about owning Rafinha and just playing him each and every week. Rafinha was on my bench this week. I decided to play Dennis over him. I didn't think Leeds would put up a particularly good performance. Now they didn't win, but Rafinha is so important to that Leeds team and he picked up another goal. So it was Dennis or Rafinha and I made the wrong decision. It's probably the first big mistake I've made so far this season and it hurts, especially when I've had such a bad game week. So seeing how bad this week was, I got 36 points overall with Sanchez left to play. I can't believe it's gone quite so badly. I had such an amazing week last week though, so I suppose it's balancing out a little bit. But if I'd started Rafinha, I could have minimised that rank drop a little bit. But it's a bad week for sure. So I got a game week rank of 5 million. Again, what an awful week it was for me. I got my overall scores only moved up to 428 and my overall rank from 35k last game week was so good. I was so happy with it, but it has dropped down to 95k. Let's hope that with the Brighton fixture I can stay just inside that top 100k, but I imagine I'll be in and about that 100k mark come the end of game week 6. So a bad week, but we move on and we push on to hopefully continue over the next few weeks a bit stronger than we did this week. With that in mind, let's have a look now at some potential transfers and move on to my thinking for game week 7. So if we start at some of the potential transfers out, some of the players that I'm looking to sell. So I've spoken a lot recently about Leeds defence. I think they're a very poor defence, and with those injuries, I don't particularly want Ayling in my team. Shaw looks to have picked up an injury, yet we're yet to have it confirmed exactly how long he's going to be out for. But the Manchester United defence haven't been keeping clean sheets. Shaw hasn't been getting those attacking returns, and the fixtures start to get more difficult for them now. So I'm also considering selling Shaw, and we'll get onto the potential replacements for him in a minute. But Ronaldo is the other one. He blanked in game week 6, and that Manchester United team just don't look to be gelling quite as much. I think they're very focused on Ronaldo, and actually what they need to do is go back to playing how they were before and just let Ronaldo do what he did, rather than trying to focus on him quite so much. So I am looking to sell him. There are other forwards that we can talk about and we will get into in just a minute that I could bring in and replace Ronaldo with. The one key forward that we'll talk about, of course, is Lukaku. So we've spoken all season about the game week 6 fixture swing for Chelsea, and it is finally here. So we've got 2 Chelsea players potentially transferred in this week. We already own Rudiger. Ronaldo to Lukaku is going to be a popular transfer this week, and it is one that I'm definitely considering making. In defence, for Luke Shaw's replacement, Alonso to combine with Rudiger is one that I'm thinking of, and Cancelo is the other. Now, Manchester City have conceded just 1 goal all season. Alonso and Chelsea have conceded just 2 goals and 1 from open play. So both these defences are brilliant defences to be bringing into our FPL teams at the moment. Both are good, and Lukaku is that forward that I'm considering buying. Now, I do have 2 free transfers, as you can see below me, but only 0.2 million in the bank. So let's have a look at exactly what those transfers could be. So with 2 transfers in mind, they will be looking at 1 defensive transfer quite probably, and then that forward transfer as well. So if we move on now to have a look at my potential lineup for game week 7 and any transfers that I'm thinking of making for this week. So, game week 7 team selection, and we'll look at my predicted transfers. However, these transfers have actually been confirmed. I have clicked the button and done Ronaldo and Luke Shaw to Cancelo and Lukaku. There are potential price rises continuing throughout the week for Lukaku and Cancelo. Luke Shaw sets to be dropping in price before the end of the week, and so is Ronaldo. So I have clicked the button. It is slightly early. There is Champions League to be played, and if there are injuries and anything goes horribly wrong, I am also considering playing my wildcard this week. I don't think I am, but I've gone early to try and build up a bit of team value, and if it doesn't go right, I'm quite happy to play my wildcard this week because there are other players in my team that I could potentially use transfers to sell. So I've gone early. These transfers have been confirmed. I have done Ronaldo and Shaw to Cancelo and Lukaku ahead of game week 7 this weekend. Let's have a look at how this impacts my team selection for this game week. Now, of course, we always start with Sanchez in goal. They've looked good. Yes, they could go top of the table in this match tonight at time recording. You will all know whether they have done and whether they've beaten Crystal Palace or not. Arsenal did look really good in game week 6, scoring 3 against Tottenham, and they've looked better since that opening 3 run of matches. But Brighton have looked good defensively throughout the season. I'm quite happy for Sanchez to continue ticking along as my number 1 goalkeeper. As we move now into the defence, the first one we have at the moment is White. He has Brighton away, so I'm playing these 2 against each other. But again, as I said, Arsenal looked really strong in game week 6, so I'm quite happy. They almost kept a clean sheet against Tottenham, and they also kept a clean sheet in the 2 previous matches as well. So that's 1 goal conceded in the last 3 matches combined. So I do think there's a good chance of another clean sheet for Arsenal here, despite it being away to Brighton. Next up, in the defence, of course, we start to add a few of those more assured players. We've got Rudiger, Southampton at home, so this Chelsea run of fixtures is starting. I think Rudiger is the most nailed to start every week for Chelsea. He might not start every week, but he's the most nailed to get the most minutes. Southampton have looked okay. They didn't look that great in game week 6 against Wolves, so I'm happy with Rudiger in my team for now, and I think there's a good chance of a clean sheet and potentially bonus or an attacking return to add on top. Next up, we add 2 Liverpool players. We've got Trent and Salah, both against Manchester City. Both are incredibly highly owned. Let's hope for a Liverpool win, I suppose, at this point, because I've got Trent. Not everyone quite owns him, but everyone owns Salah. Now, the captaincy on Salah may be slightly lower, but we'll wait and see. But these 2 are some of the most essential players for me this season, and they will continue to be in my lineup each and every week. Elsewhere in midfield, we add Rafinha, so I'm not making the mistake again of putting him on my bench, despite him being flagged once again, as he seems to be each and every game week. So Watford at home, Watford haven't been that great defensively. I don't think Backman's going to be back fit, so I'm very happy with Rafinha in my team. Hopefully he continue to get those attacking returns that he has done over the past couple of game weeks. Next up in my midfield, we do still have Greenwood. Now, I will wait and see whether he starts in the Champions League for Manchester United ahead of game week 7. I still think he'll start at the weekend. Let's wait and see. They are the early kickoff again, but I do still have him despite selling Ronaldo. So I have a little bit of Manchester United cover in my team if he starts. Elsewhere in my midfield, so we add, of course, the double West Ham attack that we have in Benrahma and Antonio, both at home to Brentford. Now, before game week 6, Brentford had been a really strong defence. However, they did concede 3 to Liverpool and they did score 3, and that's the highest sort of scoring match that they've had so far this season. Now, they've looked a bit more assured defensively away from home. Whilst they've been at home, they've been a bit more free-flowing with all the fans back and everything like that. So I do think this might be slightly tighter, but West Ham continues to look really good going forward. Benrahma and Antonio are fully involved, so let's hope for some few more attacking returns from the two of them in game week 7. Next up, alongside Antonio, is new signing Romelu Lukaku of Chelsea, who does have that Southampton at home fixture that we have spoken about. So I do think he's a really nice option for this week. He will potentially be one of my captain choices when we get onto that in just a minute. Very happy to have him in. The fixture run is starting now. He's a great option and I think he will continue to score goals. Well, let's hope that's the case anyway. And finally, to complete my starting 11, we have gone with Sarr of Watford. Now, he's been great. He scored 3 goals over the past 2 game weeks. Let's hope Leeds' defence with Ayling, as I said earlier, I don't think their defence is particularly strong. So let's hope for some Sarr returns and some Watford goals in this match, as I'm benching Ayling and starting Sarr this week. The only decision that I really have to make, Dennis, I'm quite happy to leave on my bench now. I made that mistake once. I'm not going to do it again. His ownership is so low, it doesn't matter if he does get returns. The only decision and dilemma I've got is whether I go and start Cancelo this week away at Liverpool or whether I start Ben White away at Brighton. Now, I think the clean sheet odds are pretty similar. Cancelo probably has that slightly more of attacking threat, whereas White probably has slightly more clean sheet potential. So I'm yet to decide. At the moment, it's White in my starting 11, but we will make that decision closer to the deadline. But this is how I'm lining up. And now let's look at that all-important captaincy decision for game week 7. So there are 3 standout captaincy options for my team this week. First of all, of course, is Lukaku. He hasn't scored in the past couple of games for Chelsea, but I do think there's a good chance he gets back on the score sheet against Southampton in game week 7. Antonio continues to be the main focal point of that West Ham attack and plays a Brentford team that did concede 3 goals in game week 6. And the final one is Rafinha. So I made the mistake of benching him in game week 6, but he does have a home fixture against one of the worst defences in the league of Watford at the moment. So again, he's got an outside chance and is a bit of a differential captaincy option for game week 7. However, for now, my vice captaincy is on Mikel Antonio and my captain for game week 7 is Romelu Lukaku. So that is how my team is lining up at the moment for game week 7. If you have enjoyed, please do like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. It is much appreciated as we continue to have videos each and every week, as well as live streams to get you the best possible finish and answer your questions live during this FPL season. So if you have enjoyed, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you all very soon.